Look at the size of our first July harvest. Hello and welcome to Kim's Cozy Corner. We are going to harvest again. Hi everybody, it's midweek on the next week. I haven't harvested in almost 7 days, and y'all, I've almost made it too long on a few items. So we are going to get that harvest done today. We're going to harvest some new stuff. I'm going to bring you the weights on everything, but it's a little warm out here late in the day on the second day of July. So we are going to move quickly. I have help. I have people off in the garden already picking in other areas, and so I will bring it in and show you what they got and where they got it from when that time comes. But I'm bringing you with me to harvest some squash right now. So we've been getting a ton of rain. What's new? And with all of that rain came some vegetables that are way too big in my mind anyway, but we're gonna get them harvested. Like this beautiful squash right here. Look at this squash. Woo, this is good. This is the second harvest of squash, but this is the perfect size. Actually, a little bit more, it'd have been too big. Here's the variety of squash right here. And this is Kozy, I think is how you say it, Kozy. And I know the picture doesn't do it justice, but these two great big old squash look amazing. One of my favorite varieties. Do I got any more of that? So 2 of those, and there's more coming on. That plant is nice and healthy. This plant right here isn't as healthy, but it does have squash on it. And it has squash on here that never got pollinated, so they kind of just swiveled up and dried away. Oh, there's another one back here. Can I step over? Let me just go around. Another, I don't want to show y'all my goods, so let me bend down here and stop bending over like I don't have any manners. But this right here is my Italian ribbed squash. It is absolutely my favorite. And there's a few on here that didn't get pollinated, probably because it was raining so bad. Let me go ahead and cut it away. At least one of them here. And y'all, there's my camera lens cover. I've been looking for this thing and it's been out in the rain for 7 days. That's why I couldn't find it. Let's put that in my pocket. So Italian ribbed. Look at that, y'all. That's beautiful, beautiful. And I have more squash, but that's not what I'm going to harvest right now. I'm going to harvest at least 2 cucumbers. One, I waited too long. I didn't know it was down here. I missed it when I was picking cucumbers about 6 days ago? Thursday? Yeah, 6 days ago. I missed this one. I should have picked it, but I didn't see it. Or either I saw it and it was so small, I didn't realize it was going to get that big in 6 days. I thought there was another one over here. Where did it go? 3 cucumbers. I have no idea what it is. I'm going to have to go back and check. If I can figure out what it is, I will put it up on the screen here. If not, guess what? It's a cucumber. And then I have my silver slicers. It's a white cucumber. It's one of my mom's favorite cucumbers. There's our first silver slicer. And this one here, it's got a little yellow tint to the bottom of it. I believe it was, before it got so big, was one of my Wisconsin SMR cucumbers. Hopefully it's not bitter, because it'll be one of the first one. No, it's not. We picked 2 of those before. But Wisconsin SMR, but it's got a yellow tint, which means it's getting too ripe. You don't want your cucumbers turning yellow on the vine because it'll stop producing, and we want it to produce like crazy. So you want to pick them before they get to this point with this little yellow hue that this one has here. I think that's all of the cucumbers, but I have more zucchini over here that you're going to pick with me. So let's go over there to that zucchini. Y'all look way, way, way over there. Way, way over there in the distance. That's Mom over there harvesting all of my yellow wax beans. I gave her her own basket to harvest those yellow wax beans because they've been coming in so fast. I got so many beans on the last harvest that I didn't have a choice but to go ahead and can them. And I had to do them quickly, and I did them without you. But I will do a bean harvest with you this year, so don't you worry, you'll get to do a bean harvest with me. I needed to take care of those quickly, and here's pictures of what those beans look like. And I did a raw pack and everything because I was in a big hurry to get those done. But anyway, let's go over there and let's get to the rest of that zucchini. You may notice that this orchard area is starting to look different again. I've decided to go ahead and put some of the final things in place, but that'll be another video where we'll talk about it, but you can see some of the remnants of the changes to the orchard. So let's see here, where was that zucchini? Okay, I got a little round one there, but I think that round one can get a little bigger, so we won't get that. I'll keep pushing on around here. Uh-oh, I got a bloom even on, you can't see it, but there's a bloom on my eggplant, but this isn't a garden tour. We are here for the zucchini, and there it is. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull that off because it's dragging the ground. Zucchini in a GreenStalk, y'all. Zucchini in a GreenStalk. This is Ford Hook. Ford Hook, also an amazing zucchini. Now, I think this one has a little more water content than the Italian ribbed and the Coccozelle. So it's more of what you see in the grocery stores and that kind of stuff, more water content. If you don't like zucchini, this is not the one for you. You want to try one of the first two. If you love zucchini, perfect. Full of water though, full of water, very watery. I've seen lots of little bees out here doing their work. I think that's it for now on this GreenStalk. I'm gonna let this little bee over here keep working, but y'all look at this GreenStalk. Man, it is so pretty. This is not a garden tour, but I have to bring you in just to show you just how full and beautiful this GreenStalk is. Let me get out of my own shadow here, but it's gorgeous. And I still have some lettuce coming in up here at the top. So all of the lettuce hasn't gone to seed just yet. And I gotta be careful. I got watermelon down there. And there are teeny little watermelons on there. So I gotta be careful not step on that as I'm making my way around in the garden. I have 2 or 3 tomatoes over here, but I'm not gonna harvest them today. The cucumbers are looking really, really good. The bees are doing their job with them, getting them pollinated. Let's go ahead and move over here and harvest some of the cabbage. I have a lot of cabbage that's really past time, so I'm going to harvest quite a bit of the cabbage next. Now, I am going to try to leave as much of this as I can. That's a nice hard head, but this one is a head that's going, ugh. This is a head that has gone bad. I missed it. I waited too long. This is no good. Ugh. So I waited too long trying to get extra time on this one. So that's no good. So we will not wait on this one. I'm going to go ahead and harvest it. I don't want to lose it. So we might have to harvest even more cabbage than I wanted to. We're definitely having cabbage for the weekend. But nice solid head of cabbage. I believe this is a golden acre cabbage. Nice solid head. And I got it off before I lost it. So it's time for us to bounce around and grab all of the cabbage from around the garden that's not looking so hot. And I'm afraid I've lost quite a bit of it, just like I did that one head. But let's go get to the cabbage. We are around to the front of the garden here. Another head that hopefully I didn't wait too long. Nope, 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 I'm good. I'm good. I didn't wait too long. Beautiful head, early Jersey. I'm 100% sure this is early Jersey. Looks amazing. Y'all, none of this stuff has made. None of it. So I'm gonna just cut it. This is supposed to be cauliflower. I didn't get any cauliflower, y'all. Here's another head. All right. When you take off those outside leaves, you end up with a pretty nice head of cabbage. Look at that. It's a nice head of cabbage. So we're at 3 heads of cabbage. And amongst all of this grass over here, there are onions growing. And behind here, I have different types of melons growing. So I'm pulling this stuff down and letting the melons get that evening sun. Tomatoes over here that's not supposed to be here. All right, we are over to the front of my garden now. And again, all of this stuff, y'all, it don't look so hot. These are all cool season crops, and we were well over 95 degrees for well over a week. We've been warm for a very long time, and cool season crops just can't handle it, y'all. And I can't pronounce the name of this cabbage, but here's a picture of the name. It starts with a C. It's from Fruition Seeds. Nice head of cabbage. A lot of dirt down there. We'll have to clean it up real good. Nice firm head of cabbage. That's not going to make it, so let's just cut it away. That's not going to make it. All right. I'm going to have to spend some time out here this weekend. I got a lot of cleaning up to do. So let me get you in close so you can see. With all the shadows, you might not be able to. But all of this is so dried out and dead. I'm just pulling it all back. Over there, supposed to be cauliflower. And last weekend when I was away, that one went up. That's no good. That one's not going to be any good either. So I'm going to pull all of this out this weekend, and I'll bring you with me when I go to do that. So these are my 4 heads of cabbage. 4 very nice heads. I think they look pretty good. How did I do, y'all? Considering we are in July and we've had 100-degree days here for a while. 4 more heads of cabbage. Now, y'all, we need to step over here and help pick those green beans. There are so many beans over there that I'm going to see if I can go over there and help Mom get those beans picked. Just walk through the garden here. Ooh, I got tomatoes. Oh my goodness, a ton of tomatoes. All right, I got to stop. I don't even know if you can see it, y'all, but there are tomatoes and a lot of them. There's a handful of tomatoes. Small handful, but a handful nonetheless. These things need to be watered too. Where did I see the rest of them tomatoes? There they are. Way down there. Mom, can I borrow your hat? I want to put some tomatoes in it. You want to put them in mine? I wasn't expecting to pick tomatoes. But there is a ton of tomatoes on here. That one's too ripe. Yuck. So these little cherry tomatoes I should not have put in this vertical. Yuck, there's another one. because I can't see them. And so they're ripe, and I didn't even realize it. I could have been eating those as garden candy, y'all. That's what I got so far. And I didn't know if I was getting anything out of here at all. Just want to show you just how good my dwarf tomatoes are doing. That GreenStalk planter looks great. All right, we were on our way somewhere, y'all, so let's keep going. That pepper GreenStalk looking pretty good too, but we're on our way through here. My little walking area is getting kind of tight. Those green beans are not ready yet. And these green beans right here, y'all, they are vining. These green beans are not supposed to be vining, but they are vining. They're all over there. So I got to make a note in my garden journal. In my garden journal, there's these pages in the back for me to make notes about these kind of things so I don't mess up and plant them in the wrong place next year. Now, we haven't talked about my garden journal in a long time, but it's my seed starting journal. I used it to determine when to start my seeds indoors, when to transplant outdoors. It's kind of like the process I use to determine how to set my garden up every year. But once the garden is up and going, then I use the journal to track how certain plants are doing so I can determine where to put them next year. So next year, these green beans need to be on a trellis of some kind because they need to grow up. They're not bush, even though they say they're supposed to be bush. Those are not bush beans. And so if you're interested in one of the garden journals, there will be a link below. You can buy them on Amazon. The garden journal is for me. I designed it for me, and every year I keep making improvements to it based on the things that I find are important that I'm not tracking anywhere, or I need to track somewhere, I should say. But let's keep walking. Let's get to those beans. So we're over to the beans, and this is what she's picked so far. So these are my yellow wax beans. I don't think we got as many this time as we did about 6 days ago, but this is still a really, really nice harvest of the 5 different varieties of yellow wax beans. And then we just started picking our Italian flat beans. These are Roma 2. And so I'm going to keep picking those. I went ahead and put my little yellow tomatoes in here as well. But we're going to keep picking. That's what we're going to do. So let's get these green, or Italian, I should say, Italian flat beans picked. Mom's on a break right now. So I said I'll come over here and take over for her. Because of my work schedule, I can't get out here early in the morning. Not right now anyway. Which is really the best time, I think, to pick beans. Not so much tomatoes, but beans. I like to pick my beans early because they still have a lot of that water content. If I pick my beans late in the day like I'm doing today, I like to soak my beans in water for about 15 minutes, I mean even up to 30 minutes, and just let them soak so they can get that water content back in the bean. It helps with the crispiness of the bean. My opinion, that's just the way I like to do it. For my tomatoes though, you want to harvest tomatoes and strawberries honestly later in the day because they'll have less water in them, which will make a sweeter tomato or a more defined taste for your tomatoes and your strawberries and things like that. So you don't want water in those vegetables. You want all of the juice that come with it, minus the water. My lettuce, my green beans, cucumbers, it doesn't matter one way or the other, but lettuce, green beans for sure, I like to pick first thing in the morning or soak them in water for a little while. And honestly, if you soak your beans in water, this is from personal experience. When I harvest my beans and I really don't have time to get to them right away, I will soak my beans in water 15 minutes, 30 minutes even. And then I will put them in the refrigerator before, I actually give them a good cleaning. Or you want to give them a good cleaning and everything, but still soak them first. And those beans will last even longer in your refrigerator, on your counter, or wherever you're keeping them, if you soak them in a little cool water first. And I've learned that from experience. Nobody taught that to me. Nobody told me to do that. I just learned from experience because I couldn't always get to the beans in time. And if they're feeling a little weepy, after you've had them indoors for a little while, soak them in water. It'll perk them right on up. Mom, I think that's it on these. Oh, look at that. I said that's it. And there's a great big old bean right there. And they do hide, I tell you, Mom. They be hiding. I thought I was done. And now I'm finding all these beans. And I'm probably picking behind where you were picking. I went out of town at the end of last week. And I was worried that I wasn't going to have anybody to water my garden while I was gone. And I tell you, I was out of town. My neighbor was out of town who, you know, we normally take care of each other's garden. I went to call him up and say, hey, I'm going out of town, will you water? But before I had a chance to call him up, he was texting me. So we had to call around to find somebody to take care of our garden. It was almost to the point that Mom almost stayed home. She said, I'll just stay home because I don't want to lose the garden. But we were able to work it out. I want to thank Miss Stephanie and my neighbors, Cliff and Anita, for making sure that the garden was taken care of for those 3 days while we were gone. And so the garden actually flourished amazingly well with them watering it versus me. Maybe I need them to do all the watering for me. Maybe they're better at it than me. They took care of everything. We lost nothing whatsoever. As a matter of fact, we've gained so many vegetables that we're kind of late in getting this harvest in. Yes, Miss Stephanie even deadheaded my flowers for me. Oh yes, they took good care of me. So that's it for yellow and Italian flat beans. Now we're gonna move over into just my standard green beans. So we're gonna be harvesting pole beans, Blue Lake pole beans, and they're coming in nicely. Some Blue Lake pole beans right there. They have that true traditional green bean taste that I absolutely love. This is the first harvest of pole beans. Ooh, they smell so good. And these beans right here are called rattlesnake beans. Here's a better picture of them. I kept calling them on the last video, I kept calling them strike beans. They're not strike beans, they're rattlesnake beans. And I've never had them before, so we are gonna keep them separate. We're gonna keep them separate. I just said that, and yeah, I gotta find a way to keep them separate. Miss Charlie, can you go ahead and bring me that bowl over here? Since I don't know what they taste like, I don't want to mix them in with the other green beans. I didn't know there were that many of these down here. Rattlesnake beans. Just keeping them separate so we can enjoy the taste of it before we mix it in with everything else. Now, y'all, I'm doing that now. I'm not saying I'm going to do this all season long, but initially I'm going to keep all the beans separate. Just regular green beans, rattlesnake beans, yellow wax beans, and then all of the Italian Roma 2 beans, those Italian wide flat beans. I'm not keeping any of those. Those are all for family friends. So I'm not canning them, but they will be kept separate so I can give them to someone else. All right, I think that's it on this side. Lots of blooms, but not a lot of beans yet. Let's get over here and pick the rest of these green beans. Well, you've seen me pick green beans before, so I'm gonna just pick the beans and I'm gonna bring you back once I have all the beans picked so you can see everything we got going on at the Kozy Korner. But all of the green beans, I have 2 varieties. I have Provider and Landreth, though, and besides the pole beans that I've already told you about. That's what I'm gonna be picking, and I'll bring you back when I get done picking them. Whew, y'all, I am tired and it's hot out here. So off camera, I picked 2 tomatoes, a Dr. Witchy's, Dr. White Cheese, however you say it. Here's a picture of it right here. And this is a Siberian, King of Siberia. King of Siberia is what this is right here. And it's quite beautiful, actually, and it's really bigger than I thought it was gonna be. I wasn't sure how dark it needed to be before I pick it, but it's super soft. So I think we're good. Same thing with the Dr. Witchies. So, or Whiteys, whatever, however you say it. So 2 tomatoes to add to the bunch. Let's put the tomatoes here. And from a bean standpoint, I didn't pick that many green ones, so I just threw them in this basket on top of what I already had. But from a weight standpoint, here are all of the weights from today's harvest. I believe our biggest heavy hitter, of course, is going to be cabbage, because the cabbage is amazing. And then the zucchini will be enjoyed as well. But here are all of the weights. The season is starting off very well, and I'm adding all of these weights of all of the harvest to the journal so we can see just how many beans and cabbage and broccoli and cauliflower and tomatoes and cucumbers and squash and. So you'll see everything that I'm harvesting. If you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing to my channel, turning on notifications, telling your friends and family all about it. I will keep these videos coming just for you. And I will also be showing you how I preserve a lot of these things as well. I've seen some of the suggestions on there about bread and butter pickles and chow chow, among other things. Some of those things I do preserve, some I don't, but I'll try just for you. So until next time, and I hope there will be a next time that you hang out at Kim's Cozy Corner with me. Bye.